Hallo, einen wunderschönen guten Abend und herzlich willkommen zur 9. Ausgabe von Jazz is Success. Wie immer senden wir live aus dem Mastermix-Studio in Unterföhring, an den Reglern im Kontrollraum Stefan Ginger. So, wir haben jetzt eine Zeit lang nicht mehr gestreamt, aus logischen Gründen. Das Frühjahr und der Sommer, die Wärme und die vielen Nachholkonzerte haben jetzt ein Streaming nicht sinnvoll uns erscheinen lassen. Aber jetzt, wenn man rausschaut und die Kälte und die Nässe, und jetzt habe ich gedacht, jetzt können wir mal wieder Jazz is Success senden, und ich freue mich wahnsinnig, dass wir das in dieser Konstellation hier wieder machen können. Es wird heute auch ein neues Projekt aus der Taufe gehoben, dazu später mehr. Wie immer meine Begleiter an meiner Seite: Raul Walton am Bass und Tommy Eberhardt am Schlagzeug. Und zuerst wollen wir einen Titel von Mel Waldron spielen. Mel Waldron war ein amerikanischer Pianist, langjähriger Begleiter von Billie Holiday, auf vielen Platten vertreten von Coltrane und Archie Shepp und Eric Dolphy und Charles Mingus. Und er hat in den 80ern und 90ern in München gelebt, und ich hatte die große Ehre, dass ich bei ihm Unterricht nehmen durfte. Er hat zu mir gesagt, ja, er gibt mir Unterricht, but if I don't practice, I have to play chess with him. And pay him anyway, so I had to pay for playing chess with him if I don't practice, and I learned playing jazz and playing chess at his place. Und das Stück, das wir spielen, heißt Catwalk. Es ist 1959 aufgenommen worden auf dem Album Left Alone, das Album, das er im Trio aufgenommen hat nach dem Tod von Billie Holiday. Und das ist einer seiner schönen Kompositionen, die es wert sind, weiter gespielt zu werden. Catwalk. Dankeschön. Mel Waldron und Catwalk. Jetzt darf ich unseren heutigen Stargast ansagen und begrüßen und einen herzlichen Applaus virtuell für unsere Sängerin aus New York, Glenys Vargas.
Good evening. So our next song is Cheek to Cheek.
Ja, Cheek to Cheek, ein Song, der 1936 nominiert war für den besten Filmsong bei den Oscars von Irving Berlin. Geschrieben für einen Film mit Fred Astaire und Ginger Rogers. Und bevor wir anfangen, muss ich noch schnell das Blatt wechseln. Und viel Vergnügen, Cheek to Cheek, Glenys Vargas.
My heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I see when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Oh heaven, I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I would love to go out fishing in an ocean or a creek, but it wouldn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Oh, I would love to climb a mountain, love to reach the highest peak, but it wouldn't thrill me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. Won't you come and dance with me? I want my arms about you, love the charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week reach the gambler's like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Won't you come and dance with me? I want my arms about you, love the charms about you will carry me through to heaven. I'm in heaven, and the cares that hung around me through the week seem to vanish like a gambler's lucky streak when we're out together, when we're out together, when we're out together dancing cheek to cheek. Yes, and that was Cheek to Cheek. And our next song is actually a fusion of two completely different songs. So the first one is Take 5, and the second one, well, you'll see.
1, 2, 3.
Quizás porque mi niñez sigue jugando en tu playa y escondida tras las cañas duerme mi primer amor. Llevo su luz y su olor por donde quiera que vaya, amontonado en tu arena. Guardo amor, juegos y penas yo, que en la piel tengo el sabor amargo del llanto eterno, que han vertido en ti 100 pueblos de Algeciras y Estambul para que pintes de azul sus largas noches de invierno. A fuerza de desventura, tu alma es profunda y oscura. A sus atardeceres ojos se acostumbraron mis ojos como el recodo al camino. Soy cantor, soy embustero, me gusta el juego y el vino, tengo alma de marinero. ¿Qué le voy a hacer si yo nací en el Mediterráneo? Nací en el Mediterráneo. Y te vas después de besar mi aldea, jugando con la marea, te vas pensando en volver. Eres como una mujer perfumadita de brea, que se añora y que se quiere, que se conoce y se teme. Ay, si un día para mi mal viene a buscarme la parca, empujada al mar mi barca con un levante otoñal y deja que el temporal desguace sus alas blancas y enterrarme sin duelo entre la playa y el cielo. En la ladera de un monte más alto que el horizonte quiero tener buena vista. Mi cuerpo será camino, le daré verde a los pinos y amarillo a la genista. Cerca del mar porque yo nací en el Mediterráneo, nací en el Mediterráneo.
Dankeschön. Mediterraneo. Gemischt mit Take 5, also ein 5/4 und ein 6/4 gemischt. Wir bauen jetzt ein klein wenig um zum Interview und genau, das wird vielleicht 30 Sekunden oder 1 Minute dauern. Also wer jetzt schon ein Bier braucht, der kann sich jetzt eins holen. Oder wer schon aufs Klo muss, kann jetzt gehen. Und genau, 30 Sekunden Umbaupause. Bis gleich.
I understood the beer part. That's what I figured. you.
Okay, this is yours. So you put the.
I'm good.
You have your microphone?
They need to hear us.
Test. Okay. Pretty rocky.
Der Boden ist nicht ganz gerade. It's a
It's not the
Schaukelstuhl.
bone, this is the chair.
Yeah. No? No, on another place it's
Oh yeah? Okay.
okay.
Then it's,
I have to speak English today, making the interview, because Glenys, our guest, she's from New York City. She calls herself a citizen of the world because you were born and raised in New York City,
Yes.
and you lived for a couple of time for a while in Italy,
Yes.
and also in Luxembourg.
Yes. And a little tiny bit in Switzerland. Just a
And a
year.
little- okay.
There.
In Switzerland, and now she lives in Munich, and so that's why we came together tonight to make music. And Raoul Walton, our bass player, you know him. He's also from New York. He's here for a longer time now. You're here since 30 or 40?
we don't talk about how long.
Okay.
No, just joke. I'm here in Germany since 1984.
Okay. And you came to Europe first, to Switzerland,
Yes.
to play some jobs, or
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
There was a bass. There was in the 70s. There was quite a lot of fusion jazz going on, and there was a bass player named Jeff Berlin who couldn't make a gig with the Swiss band, and so while they were in New York, they were thinking, well, why don't we just look for another bass player? And they happened to be on West 30th Street where the music building is, so they said, well, why not? Let's just ring a bell. And they went to Prince Studios, which was a studio I used to work in, and they asked the guy who owned it, by the way, do you perhaps know a bass player who can play this kind of stuff? And he goes, yes, I know Raoul Walton, but first you have to rent my studio. So they did it, and then he called me up, and I went down and met them, and yeah, the rest is basically history. I joined the band, and then 2 years later, I decided to move to Switzerland to be a permanent member.
Wow.
So
okay. And Glenys, you grew up in New York. At what age you started thinking about becoming a singer, or when did you
About 5. I
get in
think.
touch with music?
I think when I was 5 and I was singing in front of the refrigerator with a banana. But I did study music and dance and theater growing up, so as a child. And I started doing musicals around 13. And so musical theater kind of segued into jazz and pop and a lot of other genres.
Okay, so you when you finished school, you studied acting
Yes.
and singing.
Yes, I studied
Yeah.
it like as a child as well.
Okay,
So then I continued. You're always studying. You spend your life studying.
you're never ready, you know.
You never
No.
end. Yes.
The more you learn, the more you see that it's impossible to learn everything, and
Exactly.
you grab as much as you.
Yes,
as you
from
can.
everyone, including you guys, always learning.
And so you started in New York. You started a musical career. So
Yes.
you were a part of the musical Hair and Jesus Christ Superstar. I have to.
Yes. Hair I did in Europe, and the first country we landed in was actually Germany.
Okay. So you joined. You were making Jesus Christ Superstar with Billy Porter, a
Yes.
well-known musical star in the
Yes,
United
so
States.
he was Jesus. He
Yeah.
played Jesus, and actually it was the first time that Jesus Christ Superstar had a positive review in the New York Times. So that was good. And yeah, so I did a lot of rock musicals at that time.
Okay. And so you toured all over Europe and the States.
Yeah, so I toured with Jesus Christ Superstar was a sit-down theater near New York. It was in New York State. And Hair, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Elvis, a lot of Beehive, a lot of these 60s rock musicals were mostly tours. So in all of Europe and also in the US.
Cool. And how did you get in contact with jazz music?
So jazz, I was running away from jazz at first because when we were on tour in Europe, all of the musicians always wanted to go to the jazz clubs. And I was 18 at the time, I just wanted to go dancing. But no one else did, so we always ended up at the jazz clubs. So when I got back to New York, I actually missed jazz. And then I met some musicians. For example, I played jazz with Victor Jones and Alex Blake, and that was my first jazz experience. And I was singing at a jazz loft that was an illegal underground jazz loft in New York City that was closed down by the mayor, but that was a lot of fun as well. And so, yeah, kind of segued into jazz, and that was a good...
And later you also were part of a musical with the Fats Waller music.
Yes, I did Ain't Misbehavin' in Guatemala, actually, so for a music festival there. And that was also part of segueing. You know, I really liked the songs, and so, you know, jazz kind of was like a constant. You know, sometimes it would pop up and sometimes it would be dormant, but it was always there.
Okay, and Raul, you were studying in New York, classical bass playing?
Yes, when I was growing up, it was impossible to study electric bass, so you had to either study a wind instrument or upright bass. So then I got the chance to study with a classical bass player, Marvin Tropolsky, and learned a bit how to play this thing here. And but I had a lot of tutors in ways. There was one guy, John Robinson, who was teaching at Bronx Community College. He wasn't actually a teacher. He was just, how do you call it, a helper. But he's an amazing musician. He plays several instruments. He knows theory inside out, backwards, forwards. He knows Mozart and Coltrane. He can play it all. And he was the guy who kind of showed me the way around changes and chords and all that kind of stuff. So that was my two different kinds of educations.
And when did you get in touch with other jazz musicians? Like you played with Kenny Kirkland and Sam Rivers and Michael Urbaniak. So was that...
Well, you know, the funny thing about New York is like you run into these people on the street. I met Kenny Kirkland actually walking down the street somewhere in Manhattan. He says, "Hey, you're a bass player?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Want to jam?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's how we met, and we started playing. And I met Eddie Guagua Rivera from the Fania All-Stars. He lived around the corner from me. I saw him carrying his baby bass, and I just went up to him, and we started having sessions, and he invited me, for instance, to a Fania All-Stars session just to watch. And then I realized, wow, that's a long way to go, because these guys just came into the place and just, like, did an album. They sight-read the whole album. Wow. Like, no mistakes. And he just said, sit down. I was sitting on a wheelchair like you. He said, sit down, don't make a noise, and watch. And I was like, oh, my God, that's what it means to be a real studio musician. But anyway, most of it was just meeting people on the street. It was like, when it was Sam Rivers, it was different. Sam Rivers saw me at a session with Michael, a gig with Michael, and he liked it, and he asked me to do a tour with him in Italy. So that's how that happened. You know?
And so you play all kinds of music. So when you entered Europe, you became a session player.
Yes.
And you played gigs with a lot of different artists. Like I didn't know that. You told me that before. You played with Uli John Roth, the original guitar player of the Scorpions. So you made rock music, and you played with big German stars like Marius Müller-Westernhagen. Made stadium tours and stuff like that. But you also do that blues and jazz kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's also a bit of growing up in New York. You know, you meet so many different people. Like one guy is a rock musician, you go to jam with him, and the other guy is a hardcore jazz guy, you go to jam with him. The other was a Latin musician, you jam with him. The other's a punk musician, and you don't say no. You want to learn, you want to play. So we wind up playing all kinds of different musics, you know.
So it's really a melting pot.
It definitely is.
Okay. And so we come to your project that will become our project now. It's doesn't matter where you are or where you're living, you always have an own jazz project that's called Glenys Vargas and the Gotham Jazz Project. Yes. And Gotham. We all know Gotham City from the Batman movies,
Yes.
but I didn't know that it actually was a nickname for New York in the 20s and 30s.
Yes, so New York,
How
actually,
does
that's
that
where
come?
Batman got it.
Yeah.
So New York was known as Gotham City. So, in fact, if you walk through New York, you still see some stores and places called Gotham, and that's how they referred to it before it was known as the Big Apple. So they called it Gotham, and also that's the same period that jazz was pop music. So I thought it was a good.
Yeah,
a
there
good
were
way
no
to-
discotheques,
No.
no PA systems and stuff like that. There were dance halls, as they called them, and there were big bands playing jazz music, and the people were dancing Lindy Hop and what else did you
and,
say?
Jitterbug and
Jitterbug.
swing dancing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was were the great times of jazz, but jazz is always developing and it's always absorbing all new styles of music. But now you play with us
Yes.
as a quartet, and we are Glenys, Vargas, and the Gotham Jazz Project. So if anybody sees us and want to book us, it's possible.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you for being here.
Oh,
It's a
thank you
great
for having
pleasure
me.
to have you here. Also, Raoul,
Thank you
you
very
for
much.
being a part of the show for such a long time. It's a great pleasure
Same
to play
here.
with you. And I was a fan of your bass playing when I was 18. I was one of my favorite albums was from the Duff singer Gabi Delgado. And you play. I read the credits and I loved your bass on that album. So I'm a fan of yours
thank you.
since 40 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a cool record. That was
Yeah.
really funny because, can I say a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course.
Please.
That was when I was still living in Switzerland, and Gabi had a girlfriend in Switzerland. And his girlfriend was the ex-girlfriend of the guitar player of my band. So at that time, I had to go to the consulate to get some papers. You know, they were messing with me being an American living in Switzerland, you know, all that stuff. So I said, well, while I'm in Zurich, let me see if Gabi's home. So I went to Stefan's home. So I rang the doorbell. Stefan was there. And there's two guys are sitting there dressed in leather and cappies. And I'm like, and he says, oh, they're big rock stars in Germany. I said, oh, okay. So I said, you look like a singer. I said to Gabi, he said, yes. And I looked at Robert, and I said, you look like you do everything else. He said, yes. So, and it was like, hey, man, you know, that's really cool. And, yes,
These guys were called Deutsch-Amerikanische Freundschaft.
you know.
German-American Friendship was the band name
Oh, wow.
of this, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And they were really big at the time, but they had just split up 5 minutes before I came.
Oh, wow.
In Stefan's house, because they said they didn't want to do it anymore. So, and they said that we just actually split up, and I, being as cheeky as I was back then, I had a tape of our practice, and I said, well, listen to this. Maybe you want to sing in our band. He called me 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And that's the record that you know.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Conny Plank produced it,
Yes.
one of the most well-known producers in Germany. He did a lot of work for Kraftwerk and Eurythmics and stuff like that, and you played a lot for him.
Yes, I did a lot of sessions for him. And that's how I actually wound up coming to Germany, because he said at one point, Raul, you're wasting your time in Switzerland. Come to Germany. I've got more than enough for you to do here. And so I did.
And here
Cool.
we are.
So,
Here we go.
Here we are.
here we go. So now which camera? I'm talking in this camera. The next song we're gonna play now, we have to clean up the situation here and put the chairs. And afterwards we play a song called Crazy. You all know that song. It's by Gnarls Barkley. And we play an arrangement made by Corey Henry, the keyboardist of Snarky Puppy. And it's one of the greatest jazz arrangements of a pop song. I know, I love it. So, have fun, and yeah, take your time, 30 seconds, Umbaupause.
lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that space. Even your emotions had an echo in so much place. Yeah, oh yeah. And when you're out there without care, you're without of touch. But I do it because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Oh, 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 oh. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Oh, possibly. Oh, oh, oh. I hope that you are having the time of your life. But think twice. That's my only advice. Ooh. Who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? Maybe you're crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Just like me. My heroes had the heart to lose their lives out on the limb. And all I remember is thinking I wanna be just like them. Oh, ever since I was little, it looked like fun. There's no coincidence I've come. And I can die when I'm done. Well, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're crazy. Maybe we're crazy. Possibly. Oh, oh, oh. Does that make me crazy? Maybe
Glenys Vargas
Thank
on
you.
vocals, Raoul Walton on bass, Tommy Eberhardt am Schlagzeug, am Mischpult Stefan Ginger, Assistenz und Bildmischung Alex Hubmann, Regie und bewegte Kamera Ileana Kosmovici. Und danke dafür, dass ihr alle gekommen seid und Jazz is Success schaut. Haltet uns die Treue. Als nächstes spielen wir einen meiner absoluten Lieblingssongs. Und Glenys, you heard something about the Barbara Streisand recording of this song. It's called Alfie, and it's by Burt Bacharach.
So the song, Barbara Streisand was going to record the song with a full orchestra. So she gets to the recording studio and she says, okay, I have a question. What does this lyric mean? And the lyric is...
I lend, what would I lend
What
on
will you lend?
What will you lend on an old golden rule?
On an old golden rule. So she asked him, what does this mean? And he said, well, I don't know. So she's like, well, you better get Hal on the phone because I'm not recording it until I know what it means. So he called Hal David. And what happened? Who answered?
His son was on the phone and he said, oh, my father is on the Chinese Sea. He can't talk to you now. But...
And so he said, well, you better get him on the phone because Barbara is only going to record this song if she knows what this lyric means. Because grammatically, it's not so great. It's a little bit strange. What will you lend on an old golden rule? It's a bit strange. So 20 minutes later, Hal David calls. And he says, actually, it's kind of meaningless. It's lyrics that I put in there as filler until I found something better. But Burt Bacharach liked it, and so we kept it in, but it really doesn't have any kind of meaning. But it's open to interpretation, so add whatever meaning you want. And so she recorded the song, and then it's history.
But in fact, actually, I love the lyrics of that song because it was written for a movie with Michael Caine, and the lyrics are about the big questions in life, and it's the perspective. The lyrics are asking like from the perspective like a child would ask honestly.
Yes.
The big questions in life, and it's a wonderful lyric, I think.
Yes.
And Burt Bacharach is the composer. Jetzt kann ich ja wieder Deutsch sprechen, kurz, genau. Burt Bacharach hat ganz viele tolle Songs geschrieben, die man kennt. Close to You von den Carpenters, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, Oscar-Gewinner von Butch Cassidy und Sundance Kid als bester Song. That's What Friends Are For mit Stevie Wonder und Whitney Houston und vieles, vieles mehr. Und er hat Alfie immer für seine beste Komposition gehalten. Und die spielen wir jetzt. Alfie with Glenys Vargas on vocals.
What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind. And if only fools are kind, Alfie, I guess it is wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what will you lend on an old golden road? As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more, something even non-believers can believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Without true love, we just exist, Alfie, until you find the love you've missed. You are nothing, Alfie. When you walk, let your heart lead the way. Then you'll find love any day.
That was Alfie by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, sung by Glenys Vargas.
Thank you so much.
So, thank you, Glenys, for the moment.
Thank you for having me.
So, liebe Gäste, ich habe jetzt keinen Überblick. Huh? Ja, ich habe jetzt keinen Überblick, wie spät es ist. Welchen Song wir spielen, weiß ich noch. Gut. Genau, was wollte ich sagen? Genau, wir wollten auch so in die graue Jahreszeit ein bisschen Lebensfreude bringen und wir spielen jetzt einen Song von Tom Brown, einem Jazz-Trompeter auch aus New York, glaube ich, der in den 80ern einen riesigen Funk-Pop-Hit hatte, der eigentlich instrumental ist, außer eben ein Refrain, der gesungen ist. Und ich werde hier meine Talkbox anschmeißen und schauen. Okay, das geht schon mal, das Mikro. Und mit dem Song möchten wir uns noch nicht ganz verabschieden, aber fast. Und ihr könnt natürlich zu Hause vorm Bildschirm könnt ihr natürlich tanzen und schreien und euch mit euren Partnern vergnügen, weil es schaut ja keiner zu. Ne? Ihr seid ja unter euch, das ist eine ganz andere Situation als jetzt im Konzert, wo ihr Nachbarn habt und die natürlich sehen, was ihr macht. Also lasst eurer Lebensfreude, eurem Körpergefühl und eurer Tanzlust freien Lauf. Und wir spielen jetzt für euch Jamaica Funk von Tom Brown. Just a second, please. Yes, I need glasses.
Jamaica funk, that's what it is. Let me let you come on, I've got the room, you know. Fight for Jamaica, you feel it. When I walk, let me let you Jamaica funk, that's what it is. Let me let you wow. Inside my soul, let me let you, 'cause there's a living I want it in a while. Fighting for Jamaica, and I feel it, know what it is. Let me let you, Jamaica funk, that's what it is. For Jamaica.
Jamaica Funk von Tom Brown. Warte mal, ich glaube, die Kamera ist jetzt an, dann stelle ich mich jetzt mal daher und bedanke mich recht herzlich. Erstmal Tommy Eberhardt am Schlagzeug, Raoul Walton am Bass, Glenys Vargas, come on stage, please, on vocals. So, tonight we were, and in future we are, Glenys Vargas and the Gotham Jazz Project. Und Jazz is Success geht natürlich auch weiter. Wir werden im Januar so in etwa die nächste Sendung machen. Und ich freue mich, dass es weitergeht, dass ihr zuschaut und bleibt uns treu. Und genau, und wir wünschen euch bis dahin eine gute Zeit, eine friedliche Zeit, schöne Weihnachten, einen guten Rutsch in ein hoffentlich erfreulicheres Jahr 2023. Schauen wir mal, dann sehen wir es schon. Und bis dahin wünsche ich euch alles Gute. Bye bye. Have a good time. See you next year.